What a horrible night of fights. I missed the two finishes in that card, the Ryan Spann finish and the Jackson and McVey submission. Every single other fight I watched, I mean, there was like the Aljamain fight was solid. It's pretty much what I expected from that fight, but a lot of them, it just seemed like they didn't want to be there. Like Anthony Hernandez, not Anthony Hernandez, Alexander Hernandez. He just didn't seem like he tried till the third round. Got pieced up for 2 rounds by a fucking journeyman. Just super disappointing. And I think that oh, this is what people are having problems with in the Paramount era. That being said, some of my picks did age very well. I knew that Span knockout was going to come. What did you think about the fight, Smart?
Yeah, I mean, what a disappointing card. But I think overall, like there was some decent competitive matchups. Maybe not the most entertaining, but definitely competitive. I think the Grant fight stood out to me. That was a fun one to watch. Um, I mean, Sterling probably fight of the night. That was the most dominant, impressive performance. And I mean, yeah, it was a little lackluster, but we went 2 for 2 on our upset alert. So Raoni Barcelos and Aljamain Sterling getting it done. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it was a bit of a lackluster card, but it was still fights are fights, you know?
Yeah, I mean, big night for upsets too. A lot of underdogs at once.
Yeah, a
I
lot.
didn't see all of them coming. Like McConaughey winning, that was a big surprise. I think Cody Durden really surprised a lot of people, including me. I thought he was gonna get submitted in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, coming in
Um,
on short notice, I don't think
yeah, so it was like
anyone
six
really had
days.
too many high hopes for him. So props to
Yeah.
him for real. That's
All right.
impressive.
So do you want to start, breaking down the fights? Want to start with the
Yeah, let's start with the Sterling fight.
yeah, well, I think what we was gonna say. Watching that Sterling fight, I think that we were spot on when we broke down the fight before. He did show levels. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He did get closer to a submission than I actually thought. I thought Zalal was going to look a little bit better on the ground than he did. Obviously, he didn't get submitted, but like you were saying during the fight, I think that he was trying to show position over submission and just really show dominance more than getting a finish. And I think that this performance really does put him next in line for a title shot. I'd love to see him back with Evloev. Honestly, that would be a fun fight to watch again if they're not going to give him a title shot. But yeah, he's definitely like after the Evloev Alexander fight, whoever's next. I mean, if Evloev wins, he deserves a shot. If my boy Alex keeps his belt, you know, give Aljo the head tilt.
Yeah, I think this was a huge fight for the division. I think now with Sterling winning, you have two clear contenders for the belt. Like you said, I think Evloev should get that title shot next. Sterling said it himself in his post-fight press conference, and I think Sterling would be right after him. Regardless of who wins, I think he should be next. So that was an impressive performance. He really showed levels to the game, and I think Zalal looked decent on the ground. Like when he in the third round, he controlled him on the ground. He took his back. He had a few chokes in on him. And ultimately, Sterling just showed that he is superior, and he was able to get out and survive. And I mean, it was a good display from him. His wrestling looked top notch. His cardio looked good. And he said it himself, like at the end of the fight when he was just smashing Zalal's head in, he said in his interview after, he said he still wanted to go. He was just getting going, and he saw the clock was running out, and he was like, "Shit, I gotta unload something here."
Yeah, I
Um,
mean that was I've never seen that before. The double hand punch.
yeah, he looked angry. I mean, he
Yeah.
he genuinely looked like he had a point to prove. And I think he did that. I think people now know to still respect him. He's still Aljamain Sterling. He defended the belt at
Mhm.
bantamweight for I think it was like four times, three times. So I mean that's impressive, and he was one of the best pound for pound fighters for a while. So he's still him. And I'd say this kind of reminded me of the Usman fight against Buckley. He was like,
Yeah.
I still got it. So it was good to
hmm
see.
I completely agree. And like you said in the third round, that was really the only round that Zalal won. And even though he did control him, he didn't land damage like Aljo did. When Aljo had him on the ground, he was landing punches the entire time. I think he landed over like 200 significant strikes in the
Yeah, dude,
entire
he
fight.
was active on
So
the
he was
ground.
working. Yeah, I did give him some shit when I was a less informed MMA viewer because I thought he was boring. But now that I've grown as a person, I think that he is actually an exciting fighter to watch. And I think he seems like a pretty good dude, actually.
Yeah, I think he's like a highly technical and skilled fighter, and it's fun to watch him because I feel like he might not have the best striking, but he still mixes wrestling and jujitsu really well. And I think that's what makes grappling fun. So, I mean, I enjoy watching him, and like you, I mean, maybe at first, and he really wasn't the most entertaining fighter back then. He really didn't try and like be as active on people's backs and stuff. He would just went for, I'd say, submissions. But
Yeah.
now he's more of a well-rounded fighter, and he's come more into his own. And I think right now his confidence just keeps going up. So I think that'll only help his game. And I'm excited to see what's next at the top of the division.
Yep, completely agree. You want to talk about the Dumont Edwards fight?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Edwards looked solid. I think that's what I've come to expect from her on this win streak that she's been on. She's really had a good career resurgence in Dumont. She has a good record and she's a good fighter, but I think if talking about like winning minutes and points fighting, Edwards is the better fighter with her grappling, and she's able to get back up and land damage with. I mean, she doesn't have the biggest reach advantage, but she's able to use her reach that she does have well, and I like the way she fights.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I actually thought that she might have, coming into this fight that she might get a finish in this. But I
Same.
was very heavy on her. I was never very impressed by Norma Dumont. Yeah, she's was like a six fight winning streak that came to an end after this. But she's had so many, not so many, but a lot of decisions that just weren't very convincing. Didn't seem like she really wanted to go out there and finish fight. Seemed like she was really just doing enough to get the decision. And I was kind of scared that she was gonna get a robbery that night. She was sitting there smiling like she had won.
Yeah,
Um,
she looked visibly upset that she didn't get the decision.
yeah, and she didn't win a single round. I mean, I think only one judge
Yeah,
gave
I think
Edwards
you're
all
right.
three, but in my opinion, I think she won all three rounds pretty, handily. Like not like it was incredibly dominant, but in my mind, she did enough to win all three.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a judge giving it here or there to Dumont, but I'm glad that they got that decision right and that they gave it to the fighter that
Yeah,
won because I mean earlier in the night we'd had like I think two kind of sketchy decisions at least where they favored grappling over damage. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm glad the winner got her hand raised there. But I mean, moving on, we have what was after that? We had the Grant fight.
yep.
Um,
No, it was the Hernandez versus
Garcia.
Garcia fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
already
we,
talked about that. Yeah, just
yeah,
Hernandez was just stuck in first gear the entire fight until like the third round, where he looked good. He looked great in the third round, but it's just like he didn't try the first two.
yeah. He was just kind of watching Garcia.
Just backing up and just getting punched, and he had good footwork. That's all he fucking did.
Yeah. I mean, now
Um,
looking at the Davey Grant against Martinetti fight, that was a fun one. I mean, I'd liked what I'd seen from Martinetti coming in against Vologden, but I mean, after we saw Vologden against Castaneda, you can kind of tell that maybe Vologden wasn't the highest level of a
Yeah,
fighter. Like it's definitely a lot of heart, a tough dude, a tough out for sure. But not the highest level of skill that you can achieve in the UFC. Not a lot of like technical ability quite yet. I'm sure he will get there. He seems very talented. But that made me question Martinetti a little bit coming into this fight with Grant, who's just such a veteran. And I mean, he had a tough outing against Jourdain, but so would
yeah,
pretty much anyone else. I think Jourdain would finish Martinetti probably in the first round right now. So
100%.
I think that wasn't anything too crazy to worry about. Obviously, we were talking a lot about Martinetti in the build-up. We were saying that he's the younger fighter and that maybe like in the down the stretch he would be able to take over. And he kind of tried to do that, but just the veteran ability of Grant but was on display and he was able to keep the pace and just win a dominant points fight.
Yeah, I mean that was a Davey Grant masterclass right there. Showed him that old man strength and showed him why he's been at the top for as long as he's been. I don't think that Martinetti really looked that bad. I think that he is a young fighter. He does have a lot to learn to compete with those top level guys, but he does the athleticism for it. So if he's able to take those lessons he learned from, fighting someone like Davey Grant, who, is going to be one step ahead of you unless you have, a really high fight IQ. Um, and I think that I look forward to seeing him in his next fight. I hope he takes some lessons from this. And I think he could have a bright future. He's only 17-2 right now. So he has a lot of experience. I mean,
Yeah.
Davey Grant has 18 wins and Martinetti has 17. Obviously, out of those 18, Davey Grant, a lot of those are in the UFC. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for Martinetti. But shout out to Davey Grant. He still got it at 48, 40,
48.
40.
40.
Is he 41
No, he's
or
just
just 40?
40.
Just 40? Yeah, still got it at 40 years old. What a guy.
Yeah, I like that you brought up Martinetti's record. He's had a lot of experience, but it hasn't been against the toughest opposition, but it definitely has prepared him for this moment. And coming up against a guy with the experience of Grant and being able to last the 3 rounds and stand your ground and land some good shots as well, means he's on the right path. And I think his next fight is gonna be a big step up for him. I think he'll look a little sharper.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Moving on to the Jackson versus Barcelos fight. While we were right with the Barcelos decision, that was something that I think we all agreed on. Uh, the way he won I mean, I missed a good amount of that fight, but what I did see, it just seemed like Barcelos really wasn't doing much with control, just like he was holding on. Got, almost the double amount of significant strikes, against him compared to, Montel, who only got 33 strikes hit against him. I don't like what that means for how things are judged. I think that even if I was wrong, I think that Montel won that one. Um, and I mean, that's kind of what Barcelos is, right? I mean, he's really good at winning the fights, but like, I mean, he's not the most exciting fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would disagree. I'd say Barcelos, he was using that control and he got a good amount of takedowns, and the takedowns he landed were dominant and furious. You know,
Yeah,
he was slamming Jackson down. He didn't always get to hold him down, but I mean, he was clearly dominating him in those positions. And I mean, the knock on that fight was that Barcelos was getting outstruck heavily on the feet with Jackson just sniping him from the outside. But Jackson didn't do himself any favors by trying to fight Barcelos's fight, and trying to fight aggressive and pushing the pace. And that just allowed Barcelos to shoot for good takedowns and timing. And he started to figure out some combos. He was dodging a lot of the power strikes in those later rounds, and that just was part of the downfall for Montel Jackson. At the same time, I can see why people would want Jackson to win a fight like that because you see how Barcelos was getting worked up in every round on the feet. I mean, it comes down to what the judges thought, and I mean, in this case, they went with Barcelos. some people might have saw it Jackson's way. Um, this is a decision I would agree with because he was still landing takedowns and he was landing strikes as well. Maybe not as much as Jackson, but they were still decent strikes, I think.
Oh
But I
yeah,
mean,
I
it was
mean,
definitely a close one. I understand the controversy.
yeah, I see what you're saying. I think when things go to the scorecards, you really have to make it clear that you want it. And yeah, I do think that, personally, I think that the strikes that he landed meant more. But again, I only really watched the third round, and looked at like the, numbers, obviously. But I do think from watching that third round that if it was 5 rounds, Barcelos would have really taken over in the last two. And I just think that, these fighters that are losing decisions like this, they just got to work on getting up. If you're getting held down a bit, like the entire fight, even if you outstrike them, it's just not a good optic for the judges. And you are asking to lose that fight. I mean, there's sometimes it goes the other way, like Almeida versus Volkov, which I was happy to see that. But again, if you want to win a fight, you can't get held down for 7 fucking minutes.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. And I
All
mean, the
right,
next we had one of the two finishes, two finishes of on the whole
called
card.
this one too. Called it.
Yeah, Daniel, you were confident in this one, and I said, hey, if Daniel feels this good about it, why shouldn't I? I'm gonna go with Daniel. Ryan
Yeah,
Spann, second round KO, pick of the night. I mean it was a nasty KO too. I mean the way
brutal.
he just kind of froze Buchecha up in the air, and I mean Herb Dean calling a fight before there's any follow-up strikes is that's a good
Crazy.
knockout. So
Yeah.
good for Ryan Spann. He looks huge at heavyweight. A little tubby. I think maybe he could work on losing some of those pounds and in the later rounds that'll pay off for him and he'll be fresher. He ate two or three big shots and ate those. He looked fine.
hmm
So good for him, and hopefully he can get a couple wins together. It'd be interesting to have another striking contender, and I'd say he's kind of a well-rounded fighter for heavyweight. So maybe that'll be good to add to the mix.
I think that Hoke has really showed that if you can show up to heavyweight, even if you're a little bit smaller of a guy and you have a better skill set, that you can still do very well in the division. And I think, Ryan Spann might, I don't know if he's gonna make a title run, but I think he's gonna do at least pretty solid in the division. I'm excited to see him against someone that maybe, has some more cardio, is gonna push the fight to like a higher pace and see if that tubbiness is just a little belly or if there's a cardio issue at this size. But coming into this fight, I was not impressed by Buchecha's last fight at all. I didn't think he looked good. It seemed like it was takedowns or nothing for him. And that's why I thought, Spann, he has takedown defense. And I just think that Buchecha is a very hittable guy. Yes, he does throw some good power strikes, but I just think that UFC level striking is just not there with him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he looked horrible in this fight too. I'm curious to see what the UFC does with him from here.
I have
Um,
no idea why he was a favorite in coming in this fight. I mean, obviously some people believed it. Fucking Johnny had Buchecha. Um, but yeah, I maybe like one more fight, he gets knocked out again. I think he's gonna get cut.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, moving on, we have another guy that might get cut. Sedriques Dumas got the
Did he
first
knock?
round first
I
round
thought.
submission loss against Jackson McVey. So I mean, Dumas has not shown too much promise. He's been given some chances. He's won some fights, but I mean, now you're losing to a guy like Jackson McVey. In the first round by submission. Dumas, it looked like he didn't really want to be there. He went down pretty quickly and tapped really quickly. So I don't know. That just kind of makes you question his determination and how bad he wants it, other than just the paychecks, obviously. So good on Jackson McVey. Hopefully he has a good trajectory. I mean, the two guys he had faced previously were pretty good fighters. And he got subbed by both of those guys, and now he himself got a sub. So if he gets matched up against the right competition, I can see him growing, and he has a likable personality. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does in his next fight. I don't know if he's ever going to be at the top of the game, but he does look like someone that would be fun to watch. And Dumas, I had thought that I saw that he got cut already. Um, I thought, I've seen the UFC pretty quickly cut someone after a loss like that, and he's someone that I'm surprised is still in the UFC after they've cut other people that I don't know if they should have been cut. Right. He's, had to cancel fights because of legal issues, because he couldn't get off of house arrest. He's lost a lot of fights and really just hasn't, I don't know, he hasn't looked good. He looks like he shows up to get the money and
Yeah,
that's really it.
I haven't seen him develop as a fighter.
No,
Like,
no, not at all.
I don't know how hard he trains or what he trains or who he
Or if
trains
he
with.
trains.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Seems like he might just
He
show
hasn't
up.
shown any growth as a fighter.
Yeah, can you really expect someone that got arrested while hiding in a dog cage during a burglary, like, want
Crazy.
to advance their fight game? Like he's someone that probably had the, natural talent, but
Yeah.
he just doesn't have the dedication to compete at the UFC. And I'd be shocked if he gets another fight.
Yeah, same here. Two quick fighters I want to just shout out. First one is Victor Valenzuela. I think Max Griffin, not the best competition, but I think Valenzuela coming in on his debut. Chilean fighter. We know Chilean fighters are pretty game. And I liked the way he mixed up some wrestling, some striking, showed potential, and I'd be interested to see the rest of his career how it plays out. Yeah, it was a good performance and good for him for getting that dub. And then the second one was Michelle Montague, moving to 8-0, a good win over Bueno Silva. She kind of faded a little bit in the second round. And then in the third round, she was able to kind of come back. So hopefully she continues developing and working her game because she also is very promising and interesting for the women's division.
Yeah, she needs to work on her striking. She's huge and kind of just dominates anyone physically. But it was clear that Silva did have the better striking, and when she was able to keep it on the ground, uh, she was she was doing better than her. Like, I mean, obviously that first round, Montague just ran her over and took her down for the rest of the round. So I think that when she's fighting against higher level people that might be able to, stop the takedowns, um, she might struggle. So I'm excited to see if she works on that and gets better. But I mean, right now she does look great. So I'm excited to see what she does. I also wanted to shout out Cody Durden stepping in on 6 days notice. Yeah, it wasn't the most impressive win. He did axe kick him to the dick during the fight, but no one expected him to show up and win like that. He did the training camp with his wife like that. He's still got it, and I love seeing a little scrappy win like that.
Yeah, good for him. I think people were counting him out. I know I was, so it's good to see a guy like that win.
Yep.
And Philo might be on his way out. I don't know. He's
I just
not
I
like
just feel like
he's seems kind of like a smaller dude, easy to kind of move around. So I don't
I
know
just
if
think if
he
if
needs
he
to gain weight, lose weight. I don't know.
if he can't get his submissions going, it doesn't seem like he has that much to offer. Obviously, like he submitted Ode Osborne, who's is a good fighter, right? And who I thought is a lot better than Cody Durden. So coming into this fight, I was a little bit surprised, but yeah, I just don't think Philo has what it takes to compete with the top guys.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he proves us wrong though.
Yep. Okay, I
But
mean, I
yeah,
think that sums up the card pretty well. Nothing much
yeah.
else to talk about.
No, I'm all good. Thank you
Anything
guys
you
for
want to say
checking
about
in.
next week?
Knock MMA, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Hey, hey, hey. Coming up next week is UFC Perth, I believe. So Jack
Yep,
Della
UFC Perth.
Maddalena against Carlos Prates.
There's
That's
an
gonna be
Aussie in every single fight.
every single fight. It's gonna be
Every single fight.
fireworks, fellas. We might have to do a whole card breakdown for that one because
Yeah.
who doesn't love the Aussie cards?
Dude, I think I might be most excited to see Saul Kid versus Dariush. That's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be
a
a good
fun fight.
one. It's co-main, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, come in. This is
Yeah,
a banger card, bro.
they're stacking Quillen up there, man. They're pushing him.
I can't believe Tuivasa is fucking back.
That fight's gonna be fun, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week.